You and Chris are going to be in here talking about God knows what.
Yeah, play silly games, get silly prizes.
Howdy, folks. How y'all doing? Welcome back to another episode of the Retro Show.
Welcome to our time machine.
Welcome
ladies
to the
and
time
gentlemen.
machine. Folks, first of all, I just want to say it's good to be back.
It is.
I realize we have not, we've missed a couple of weeks. That's never, two weeks in a row has never happened. We've missed one. We've never missed two before.
Yeah.
And people were literally sending me a text and saying, are you guys stopping? No, we're not stopping.
Which goes to show you who's behind this podcast, because I hadn't received a single message. Everybody's like, oh, thank God he's off there.
It is. Listen, it's you know, and I posted a message.
I saw the message
on our Facebook because it's just been life, man. It's just been busy. It has been, lots of things happening for you and me. Last week I got we were going to try to do Thursday last, or was it Thursday last? Yeah,
I can't remember.
I don't know. Oh no, it was Tuesday this week, and then because today's Thursday.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Cayenne was playing ball. So
yeah, and so one thing or another. But anyway, here we are, and we're doing an episode tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Retro Show is
an homage
to growing up in the 70s and 80s, much like Chris and I did. The topic
Jury's still out.
The topic of today's show, when we get to it, is going to be story songs.
Yep.
Okay, songs that tell a story. Now, I realize that, if it's not an instrumental, if there's vocals, every song kind of tells a story. But this is like a narrative type song. There's a actual story arc in these songs that we're going to be talking about. And I think we got some good ones here. As a matter of fact, Chris is probably adding stuff to his list even as we speak. So right now, I want to tell you guys that the Retro Show, all of the stuff that you want to find out about it, available at retroshow.net. It's out there. Sure is. You can go there and find out.
I've seen it.
Yeah, he's seen it. I seen it. I have seen it. And I've, but anyway, yeah, the retroshow.net. You can go out there and you can scope out all of the stuff that we have available for you there, because we've got a radio station. We built you a radio station, people.
From the ground up.
From the ground up.
You wouldn't believe it.
It cost me $1 a month to keep that thing running. Come on. Show me some love. The other thing we have is the Retro Show store. And Chris, if you would hold up, besides the Retro Show shirt, please show them an example of a way they can get caffeinated. This is one of the coffee brands we have got out there. It is For Whom the Brew Flows. It is a medium roast coffee. And these are custom brews that we actually just kind of put our, our branding on there.
And it's got our faces on the back.
It's got our very young faces.
Now, what would you pay for this? But wait, there's don't
more.
Answer yet. There's dad jokes on the side. I'm not reading any of them. You got to buy the coffee.
You got to buy the coffee. And if you think Chris and I actually roast these beans,
no, we don't.
No, we don't know the first thing about roasting a coffee bean.
No.
Sorry. But someone does, and they will throw the packaging together for us. And so if you go to retroshow.net, click on the store, that one and another dark roast that I have out there called Your Ex's Soul.
Yeah,
Dark and Bitter is also available for purchase out there should you want it.
Sweet.
And also some other ones I've got in mind too.
Great googly moogly.
Great googly moogly. As well as, Chris, there's also, we have the Retro Show mugs there for your that you can drink this coffee in. See there, we're taking care of you guys on your campaign.
I mean, you don't even have to think. Just do it.
Just do it. Just go out there and get you some. Come on, folks. Daddy wants some new cameras. So,
no doubt.
Anyway, folks. Also on the agenda, I would like to stop right now and tell people that they can become a producer of this very podcast, Chris.
Say it in so.
No, it is $3 a month. $3 a month, you can be a producer. Now, there's another level that's $1.5 million a month. No one's taken us up on that one yet.
I'm waiting patiently.
I'm waiting patiently for that one. That's
waiting
be
for
cool.
Uncle Don.
Yeah, someone to come through. It's the greatest podcast ever. It's the best. It's the best podcast. No other podcast has ever been better. Anyway, that's my poor attempt at it. There's a comedian, I can't remember his name, who does a spot on Trump that's quite hilarious.
I tell you, man, there's some ladies out there doing Kamala too.
Oh, really? That are funny?
Oh my gosh, they got her down. It's pretty funny.
Pretty funny. Guys, also, I would like to remind you that you can listen to us not only on Spotify, but any place you get your podcast. You can also watch us on the YouTubes, okay? Which is why we're doing these videos.
And if you can't get the YouTubes, you can go down to the Walmarts. Get you a TV that can get the YouTubes.
Yes, you can. But on your computer, your phone, I guarantee you, your phone will probably do it, unless you have a flip phone. But anyway, folks, it's glad everybody's back. I'm glad we're all back together here, because I'm telling you, man, it's just been nuts.
It has been crazy, and I mean, he's not lying. He's had stuff. I've had stuff. My daughter's fixing to graduate high school. We got all that going on.
Dude, that is
prom.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Listen, man, we went to the state capitol to take pictures. Right. Evidently, that's the thing to do.
Really?
I didn't know this, but her best friend from Wonderview went with her, and her parents and me and Cindy, and then they had a photographer there that they hired, the girls hired, to take the pictures. Not only was it her high school, but Greenbriers, Bologna, I think Bryant was there. There's probably 1,000 kids on the steps of the Capitol. We're standing there. I'm standing there with her friend's dad, and I looked at him and I said, I wonder how much money's standing on the Capitol steps right now, because I know I have a daughter, and Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
I've sold a kidney.
Sold a kidney.
I have sold a kidney.
I sold a kidney.
But I bet there was $500,000 standing on the steps.
That's amazing. That is unreal. Just to give you a heads up what's going on, this is a true story. I'm not making this up. Debbie and I, the past couple of weeks, have been a part of a documentary that will air in about 2 weeks on this. By the way, folks, April is Autism Awareness Month. And so this is a documentary on autism. And not a lot of you, maybe some of you folks that listen to us know, maybe you don't. I have 2 sons on the autism spectrum. So Debbie and I have lived this. And so they interviewed us and the guys. So, yeah, we've been busy with that. That's the one thing that's kept us busy.
Sure.
And so, just super busy right now. But here we are. We're back. We are committed to getting this episode out, people.
Yeah. Everybody wants this episode for some reason.
I know.
I like it.
But as a matter of fact, when I threw out on Facebook the topic of this podcast, we had a tremendous response.
We did.
People were really passionate about some of these story songs. And so right now, folks, we're going to take a quick break and say thank you to our wonderful producers. And when we come back, we're going to talk about story songs right here on The Retro Show.
These are the wonderful people who support The Retro Show with a monthly contribution of $3. LNC Corporation, Roger McDougall, Melinda Hignite, Dusty Breeze, Kevin Goff, Norton, Crispy, Nancy Schwartz, Joshua Ramsey, Fran Adams, EM, Bradford Mason, Tonya Highland. Thank you to all of our fantastic supporters. Find out how you can support the podcast by heading to retroshow.net. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, back on The Retro Show, and of course, all of the stuff you can find out about the podcast at retroshow.net. The topic, Chris, today, story songs. This is fun, and I had a good time.
It is fun.
Coming up with some of these because, as I mentioned, yes.
I'm going to throw some Spanish in here. Un momento, por favor.
Okay. Do dee do dee do dee do. Do dee do
Carry on.
dee huh. Ba-dee-da-da. And see, right there's a story in itself. But a story song, folks. What I'm talking about at the top of the podcast, when I mentioned the topic, that every song is kind of inherently a story song. If it has lyrics, you know, there's a little story in there. But what I'm talking about are like these full-fledged dramas that play out in, 2.5 to 4.5 minutes in a popular song.
Put a long song track on. I'll be right back.
Right back.
I gotta get this.
So, coming back from our technical difficulties. It's okay. We got it all worked out. There was a mishap with the execution and opening of the can.
There was.
And things happened.
Let me just reiterate to all you lovely folks out there. Drink local.
There you go. But story songs. And as I said before, every song's a story, but these are like dramas played out.
There are actually,
song format.
There's several songs on here that are a complete story.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Let's not get this confused with a concept album. Now, you may have a story song on a concept album, but
Right.
they are two different things. Where the entire album will tell a story song tells an entire story wrapped up, into one little neat package there. And so I'm just going to start throwing some of these out here. One that, and some of these people who are on this list are on there a lot because they kind of do story songs.
Right.
And I want to go ahead and just start off with Leonard Skinner and start talking about some of their story songs. Ballad of Curtis Lowe.
Great tune.
Great tune. And that, to me, when I think of a Skinner story song, that one really pops right up front.
Yeah, that is absolutely an iconic Leonard Skinner song. Everybody's heard it. I mean, that listens to rock and roll. They know the Ballad of Curtis Lowe. It's really good. It actually tells a really cool story.
Yeah, it's a really cool story.
Yep.
And of course, a fun story song that they have is "Give Me 3 Steps." Always a fun one.
Yep. Are you reading all these off, or I didn't get to mention any?
Oh, you do.
No, I don't think I do. I mean, you just took two, just like bam, bam, man, bam, bam, and you took Skinner on top of that, dude.
Okay.
I'm coming off the top rope.
Okay.
Not putting up with this.
Come off the top rope and hit me, Daddy.
Well, I tell you, man, I'm looking down this list, and we're going to mention all of these, but one that's iconic from basically our childhood, Bad Leroy Brown by Jim Croce.
Croce had two.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
And they're very similar in tone.
They are.
You listen to them.
And that could be the whole his voice type deal, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
But, Bad Leroy Brown, I love that song. I still love that song.
Me too.
It's a fun song. And he also had, since we're going on there, he had Jim. You don't mess with Jim.
Yeah, there's a life lesson in there, kids.
Yeah. And you don't mess around with Jim.
Right.
And so, but also Croce on the list, I have Operator too, which is another story type song. Croce was very good at that. There's a lot of those singer-songwriters in the 70s when he came, the decade he got popular in, that has a lot of great story songs.
That was the late 70s, early 80s, I would say.
So what you got, man?
This guy just passed away this year, and but he went to Paris by Jimmy Buffett.
Dude.
What a tune.
What a song. Dude, the first time I ever sat and listened to that, I was like, it gets you in the feels, man.
It does, and you can, in my mind, we both read, so we both have, you don't have to have a vivid imagination, but when I read, it's a movie playing in my head. I can see what's going on, and when he's singing this song, I can see all of it.
Yes. And to me, that's the hallmark of a great story song.
It really is.
When it gets you, not only are you listening to the story, but it gets you emotionally as well.
Yes.
And if you've never heard He Went to Paris by Jimmy Buffett, oh man, what a song. Since we're also on Jimmy Buffett right now, Pirate Looks at 40.
Really good.
And one of his more fun ones, Gypsies in the Palace. I love that song.
He had a lot of great tunes.
But he did a lot of story songs as well. So, yeah, Jimmy Buffett. But, yeah, when you said he went to Paris, it's probably my favorite story type song of that.
Jimmy Buffett did?
Yeah. That Jimmy Buffett did.
I don't know, man. Good Lord. God's Own Drunk.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. Someone who's known for more his comedic songs on there, but he has a lot of story songs, and that's Ray Stevens. And I have on this list The Streak, but it's Me Again, Margaret.
The Shiners Convention.
The Shiners Convention. The Shriners Convention. All of
get
those.
That big Harley up on the high enough, Coy.
Ray Stevens, he's kind of pigeonholed as just being a comedian type thing, but he told hilarious stories to songs.
Do you know that's the only show I've ever not paid for, but went to, big name star in Branson?
I never went to go see Ray when he was up there, and I should have.
Uncle Tommy was still alive, and Twitty and them were playing up there, and he told us, you have to go to the Ray Stevens. It's great. You'll love it.
Yeah.
And he got us tickets, of course, and we went, and it was a doggone production, buddy.
Let me tell you
cool.
now I didn't see it when he had his own theater up there, but
that's where I saw it.
Yeah.
I was younger, a lot younger.
But we went up, Debbie and I, this is probably been 20 years ago. And we went because Glenn Campbell was playing a limited engagement up there. And I'd never seen Glenn Campbell. And I'm going to tell you right now, that man right there may be one of the top 3 guitar players that I've ever seen
good.
live. Amazing.
He's really good. I put him in the same category as Roy Clark.
Yeah, and if you've ever seen those two play together, look them up on YouTube, and it's amazing.
I'm trying. Good Lord, I can't remember his name. I hate it when I hate getting old. I can't. Who taught Roy Clark? I mean, he was
Was it Chet Atkins?
Chet Atkins.
Yeah.
That's it. Chester and Lester. I was trying to remember.
Chester and Lester.
He did a duet album with Les Paul. It was really cool. But Chet Atkins, Roy Clark, Glenn Campbell, don't rule these guys out.
Yeah.
All of them can play.
All of them can play. And, I think some people who basically sometimes just listen to rock are missing out on some of these guys that are
Well, I mean, you ask
musicians.
any famous rock guitarist, they'll tell you Chet Atkins is the best.
Yeah. Yep.
Just pure guitar player.
Just pure guitar player. So anything else on this list jump out at you?
Oh, good Lord, man. It's a big list. Rocky Raccoon, the Beatles.
Yeah.
Great tune.
Yeah. Good story song. Tells a story.
Doctor came in, stinking of gin, and proceeded to lie on the table.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and throw one out there also in the older country category, and that'd be Marty Robbins' El Paso.
That's a great tune. That's absolutely one of my all-time favorite country songs.
Oh, it is. It's a classic. It's right up there.
Our dads were big into country.
Yeah.
My dad was.
Yeah.
I mean, and Marty Robbins was big in his high school era.
Yeah.
Because music had changed so much, but I got that at an early age, and I still like it to this day.
It's kind of funny, some of the stuff that I was forced to listen to back then that I was like, oh, man, I wish I didn't have to listen to this anymore. Now I'm like going, man, that stuff is actually really good, and you go back and listen to that, which leads me into another one from that era, and that's A Boy Named Sue by Johnny Cash.
Yep.
Another great story song by a classic country artist.
You can't beat it, and it is kind of funny. I mean, that man had a lot of hits, and they all sounded the same.
Yeah. Doom ditter doom ditter doom ditter doom ditter.
Pretty much, but they were great.
Yeah.
So, kind of in that same genre, I just had it on here. I was looking right at it. Good Lord. Oh, this song actually gave me an outlook on life that I lived by when I became a father, and it was Cats in the Cradle.
Yeah.
I always thought that song was really sad.
Yeah.
And if you've never heard it, you'll have to listen to it, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. But I always made sure I was there. Whatever my kids were doing, I was there,
right,
watching and made sure I was around, because his dad was always too busy.
Yeah, and that's the thing on the song.
Yep.
And then by the time he wanted to spend time with his son was too busy.
His son was too busy. He always said he wanted to grow up just like him, and
he did.
And he did.
Yeah.
So sad. It was sad to me.
Someone else that is one of the great story songs is Into the Great Wide Open by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Love Tom
Tells
Petty.
a story, about a guy who basically, and there's another one on this list too, who becomes famous early, has a big hit, and he's kind of a one-hit wonder. But it's a fun song to listen to. And the thing I remember about that is the music video
For that
one had, I think Johnny Depp played the protagonist of the song, the guy that was in there. So
Johnny Depp's played a lot of stuff.
yeah, he has. Whether he meant to or not.
Right? Isn't that the truth?
So I'm looking at another one on here, and I'm going to go ahead and just say that this song, that this artist is not anyone that I own anything by. I don't have him on any current list, but I do remember the song and that it was a story song. That's Barry Manilow in Copacabana.
I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to avoid it.
Well, it did tell the
At
story.
the Copa.
Yeah, it's Lola and a showgirl.
And it was a huge. That was a huge hit.
That was a
for
huge.
him.
Yeah, it might have been his biggest hit.
So I'm going to throw one out that was actually very, very. It was a hit. It was a popular song, and it was kind of hysterical to listen to. But Wildwood Weed
by Jim Stafford. You mentioned Branson a while ago.
Yeah.
And we were up there one time, and one of the packages we had included Jim Stafford tickets.
Did y'all go?
We went, and
Heck
I'm
yeah.
telling you, man, I had the best time. That guy was hilarious.
Did he play that?
Of course he did.
You never know in this day and time. They may think.
Oh no, he definitely did that back when he still had his ladies and gentlemen, Bentley, the
Somebody didn't pay the
podcast
bill.
general manager. He's very upset.
Or he's
right
got
now.
a bill to pay.
He's got a bill to pay. Yeah, he hates it when
Hey,
we overspend.
The one that we discussed on here, we're going to save it till the very last, correct?
Oh yes,
Okay.
that'll probably. Well, I mean yeah.
I mean, we've still got a few songs.
Oh,
to
we
go
got
through,
quite
but
a few
that's-
on here
To
to
me,
go
that's number one, baby.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, y'all are going to have to wait
Yeah.
for number one.
One thing that sometimes you'll hear on some of these story songs are true stories by the bands. Now
Yeah.
we mentioned Skinner earlier, and he had "Don't Ask Me No Questions." That's definitely a true story song of coming off the road and people coming at him.
Working for MCA.
Working for MCA, absolutely a story song.
He the story goes that they went to a record signing.
Uh-huh.
It was MCA, and that's the song they played.
That's the song they
And
played, was
got
Working for MCA.
They got a contract out of that.
But another one that people don't realize is an actual true story. "Smoke on the Water" by Deep Purple. Now that is, it was actually that's on the album Machine Head, and they actually kind of came up with that towards the end of recording the album because of something that actually happened, and that was a fire, at the place they were recording.
Yeah.
And so that was, actually a true story that happened to Deep Purple, and probably probably their signature song. To be honest with you,
I just saw one on the list that makes me laugh every time I think about it.
So, well, what is it?
Alice's Restaurant
Yeah.
Massacre. I mean,
Alice-
this turned into a movie, folks.
Not only did it turn into a movie, the song itself is masterfully done.
It is.
It is a hilarious song, and strap in. It's like 18 minutes long.
Yep.
It takes a while, and I remember that one of our local radio stations here used to play it every Thanksgiving.
I think they still do.
I think they do every Thanksgiving.
There's another one that's not on this list, but somebody turned me on to in the last couple of 2 or 3 years, and it's Todd Snyder. You ever heard of Todd Snyder?
No.
He's a lot like Arlo Guthrie. And
Yeah.
He tells the I think it's the what do you call it? Not a fable, but the ballad
The ballad.
of the Devil's Backbone, and it talks about going to.
Yeah, we're on a podcast, and she's on camera. How you doing, baby?
I'm on camera.
Yeah.
What's up, David?
No, she's stepping over.
But it talks about him becoming a musician and going to try to play in Lubbock, Texas. Yeah. It's pretty. It's just like Alice's Restaurant, the same style, and it's funny. If you've
Speaking
never
of
heard
Texas, next artist on that I want to mention with a story song is from Texas, from Austin area. It's Steve Earle and Copperhead Road.
and that's a classic.
It is.
I mean, it came out in our era, but it's a classic.
I think 88 either 87 or 88 that came out.
Yep,
and
that
I
sounds
remember
about right.
that, man, I used to crank that. And I still do. If it comes on, I crank it up. That's a good one.
How can you not?
What else you got?
Let's go. Let's stick with the country genre, man, with The Legend of Woolly Swamp by Charlie Daniels.
Man, Charlie Daniels, you talk about a storyteller. This guy had a lot of story songs. Now, he's probably, most of the people would probably think The Devil Went Down to Georgia, which is also on this list.
Yes.
But
Yep, and they're both good tunes.
they're both good tunes. But I'm going to tell you something, man. Legend of Woolly Swamp. I used to play that for my sons when they were little to kind of scare them a little bit, and we were riding around. Ooh, Dad, that's kind of scary, you know. And it's still a fun listen. That's a good Halloween song.
I got to see that live in concert.
I did a couple of times.
He's good.
Yeah, he was really good back in the day. But yeah, we mentioned "Devil Went Down to Georgia" by him, which is probably Charlie Daniels' signature song. You know,
I remember when that hit big. I was probably 9.
79.
Are you sure?
Positive.
100% positive. Well, maybe I was 12 then.
Yeah.
But I was we were rodeoing at that time, and that was a huge song. That
Big
summer, high school rodeo was going on, and everybody was playing it.
Let's see. Let me find one on here. Okay, so this is one that one of our producers, Chris B., commented on our Facebook page on this one, and that is "Living on a Prayer."
Yeah, by Bon Jovi.
John Bovey.
I
John
read that
Bovey,
comment.
Yeah. Bon Jovi.
And he's a professional,
and
folks.
ladies and gentlemen, it's been a day.
That's awesome. And that was off of Slippery When Wet. That was that album.
Man.
That album just
You talk about a monster album.
It was a monster.
And then that tour, I remember that concert.
Did you see that
sold
concert?
out. I did not.
I was there, and Cinderella opened for him, and it was awesome.
Cinderella was on fire at that time.
Yep, they were both on fire.
I did see Cinderella later, and Tom Kiefer, the singer for Cinderella, is actually coming in concert fairly soon, I believe. But yeah, Cinderella, to me, almost every bit as good as Bon Jovi was on there. I want to let's see. So
is it my turn?
It is your turn, but I'm going to look at some of the comments. You go ahead and bring up a couple more. I'm going to be bringing up some that some people recommended on Facebook.
This is one of those songs that is so well written. It was an instant classic. I watched the drama people from UCA lived with Sydney when she was lived next door in the duplex. Mm-hmm. And we pulled up to a party one night, and all the girls were on one side of the room and all the boys were on the other side of the room, and they were singing this song, and it was incredible to watch, honestly. But it was "Paradise by the Dashboard Light" by Meatloaf.
Yeah.
What a song, dude.
Oh, that's so
well
cool.
written.
Yeah.
So well written and really cool. I'm sorry, it's just really cool.
No. It was great. It was. It's cool. You said how they did that with girls on one side, guys on the other, singing
and
the parts there.
because he did that with Kiki D, and that right? And that who it was?
I can't remember. No, I don't think it was. That was Elton John that sang with Kiki D. There was another woman, and actually, the funny thing is the one in the video that you see him singing that is not the one that actually sang it. It was another lady, and I can't recall her name.
Well, I would look it up, but I just don't have the energy.
So I've got a couple of people who mentioned on our Facebook. Jeff Hunt and Scotty Robinson both mentioned "Uneasy Rider" by Charlie Daniels.
Yes.
You talk about a story song.
Yes.
Once again, Charlie Daniels coming back in with the story song.
He did a follow-up to that, "Uneasy Rider."
Yeah, 88.
88, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I was going to say a while ago, I'm glad I didn't mention it, but when I saw him in concert, he played that song so fast. I mean, it was fast, and he was just taking a trip out to L.A., cruising on my Chevrolet, talking on number, and digging on the radio. I mean, just going fast as he could possibly go. It was like he was out of time or something. It was his damn concert. I couldn't figure that one out. But.
I want to give you I'm going to go ahead and throw some of the people on Facebook out here who took the time to comment. Thank you, folks, for commenting on
I know Kurt Cecil did. I'll shout out to him. I saw that.
You saw that one?
I saw that one.
So Carla Hall says "Ode to Billy Joel" by Bobby Gentry.
Man, that's not even on this list, dude, and that is a freaking awesome song.
That's an awesome song. Fancy by Reba McEntire, she also mentioned, which is on this list.
Yep. And that is a good tune also.
And then here's one that wasn't on my list, but she mentioned Coat of Many Colors by Dolly Parton.
Yep. It's a really good one.
So thank you, Carla. Carla Hall coming in with those.
In that situation, since they said that, because I looked over this list extensively, studied it, I mean, pre-show. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm on top of this.
You're there.
Coal Miner's Daughter by not Dolly Parton, but Loretta Lynn.
Yes. Autobiographical.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's pretty much her story. They turned it into a movie.
Yeah.
Another one of those movie songs.
Another one of them movie songs. Let's see. David Kraft. Now, he throws one out there that, Chris, I've never mentioned, that I've never heard before. He has a link. I'm scared to click it just to see what it is. Joni, the Jehovah's Witness stripper. I'm not sure if he's pulling my leg or not, but anyway, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, we'll check that out off air, just in case.
Yeah, off air, we will check that one out.
Not that we get monetized, but we don't want to be demonetized or get a strike against us on the old YouTubes.
Dr. Hook, Sylvia's mother, Ben Gibson, brought that one up. So,
on the cover of the Rolling Stone.
That's another story song right there. It is. Got a freaky old lady named Cocaine Sadie. Cocaine Katie, yeah.
Who embroiders on my jeans. I'm a poor old gray-haired daddy driving my limousine.
Other people, you mentioned Paradise by the Dashboard Light. A lot of people came in with that one. Tim Pike, Melody Blake came in with both.
That girl hangs out with that bad crowd. One of them.
You know, she has pretty questionable taste. That
is very questionable taste.
She has questionable taste in men.
I ain't gonna say which Mike Clegg.
Mike Clegg. I'm sorry, I have sinuses. Mike Clegg. Philip Kelly mentioned Wildwood Weed, which we brought up by the great Jim Stafford. Tie a Yellow Ribbon.
Great tune.
By Tony Orlando and Don, which tells a great story. Yeah, it's about a guy returning from Vietnam.
Yep.
And Richard Henley actually mentioned that one. So thanks, Richard. Yep. Let's see. Okay, so a couple of people mentioned this one. It didn't make my list, but it is a story song. But I find the people in it reprehensible.
Ooh.
The Pina Colada song. Both of them are jerks. So
I don't even know who sings that.
That's a guy by the name of Rupert Holmes. Nothing against him, but the people in the story are like, if you listen to it, it's like, well, neither one of these are good people. You know, they kind of deserve each other. Let's see, Robin Richardson, American Pie by Don McLean.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a good one.
And it's on the list.
It is on our list.
I'm drawing a middle finger on my sheet here.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm just having fun.
You're just having fun?
I'm doodling while you're reading stuff.
Yeah, I see you got it pointed at me. Thanks.
Well, I was going to hold it up. Anyway.
I know. Thank you. Thank you very little. Bill Voiles comments, Simple Man by Skinner. Rock and Roll Band by Boston. Kind of an autobiographical thing that they did. Teddy Bear by Red Sovine. That's a You talk about old school trucker country from back in the 70s.
The Night They Drove Old Dixie Down by the band.
Yep.
Good tune.
It's a good tune. That absolutely tells the story right
there. And this brings up the early 90s Jeremy by Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
It is a story song. Really, you can't understand half of what he's singing. But I liked it. I did like it.
Yeah.
I did add one to the list that actually I'll wait, but it was because we got 3 at the bottom for sure that are all by Kenny Rogers. Well, 2 by Kenny Rogers.
Yeah.
Coward of the County.
Oh man, they made both of those on this list. They made movies out of starring Kenny Rogers in some role,
and The Gambler. Right. I mean, those were huge hits for Kenny Rogers. Oh, and he had a ton of them, but those were
But yeah, Coward of the County. They actually did I remember that TV movie and watching. My dad was a big Kenny Rogers fan.
I loved Kenny Rogers. I thought all his music was great.
Yeah, I did
to
too.
be honest with you.
Let's see. Same Old Lang Syne by Dan Fogelberg and Leader of the Band by Dan Fogelberg on there. Both telling stories on there. Same Old Lang Syne they play about every New Year's on radio. What else you see on there?
I mean, we haven't mentioned Shooting Star by Bad Company.
No, but what a great story song.
It is a great story song. It's a sad story song.
It is.
But it's actually about somebody. That was about Johnny Rotten, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. From the Sex Pistols, is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah. I think that's right.
I think so.
And the one I added that I wasn't going to mention until I mentioned Kenny Rogers, but to me, honestly, truthfully, this is the most well-written song I've ever heard, and it's a conversation, and that's "The Chair" by George Strait.
Yeah.
It's my favorite country. That's my favorite George Strait song. That's my favorite country song of all time, just because of the way it's written. I like weird written songs, I guess, or lyrics that make you think. But this one is written, and there's no chorus, and it's just him basically meeting a girl in a bar and tells her that she's got his chair, and then strikes up a conversation. They end up dancing, and then he ends up taking her home at the end of the night and basically tells her, that wasn't my chair after all. You know what I'm saying? It was really cool.
You mentioned one of the other comments on Facebook, Robert Assam mentioned
Moose.
Private Malone.
I don't know. I'm not.
Oh,
familiar.
you never heard of that? Oh, dude,
not familiar.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy that sang it, but but the name of the song is Private Malone. It's a good story song, though. Very good. Kind of one of those ghosty type songs.
He hit me up on Messenger today and asked me how to listen.
How to listen?
How to listen. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Robert, I don't know how to respond to that, brother.
I responded. I was kind, but the next time I see him in person, we're going to have a long talk about that one, Robert. Come on.
Well, see, these things Robert called podcast.
We got you, brother. We got you,
man. We're just messing with you. We're just messing with you because he's old like us, So,
right? So actually, he's older than us.
He is, but I wasn't going to bring that up. I was going to give him the benefit.
No.
And speaking of great story songs by people who are older, now I can't believe he's still touring, but he is. Steve Miller, Take the Money and Run.
Yes, and that's absolutely one of my favorite bands. I've always liked that.
Listen,
all their stuff's good.
His greatest hits.
Yes, it's
that 74 to 79 greatest hits package, dude. I've never not had a copy of that.
Me either.
If I don't have it, I get it. But I've always had a copy of that, and I had it in
Jungle Love's on there.
Yes, I had an 8-track Wild Mountain Honey. I've always loved that song too.
Wintertime's on there.
Oh, what a song!
Yep.
Yeah,
good stuff.
So if you don't have on Spotify,
Jet Airliner's on there.
Steve Miller Band, greatest hits 74 to 79. Go ahead and get you some. That's a good album. Anyway. Let's see. We've mentioned a lot of these on here, man. I'm trying to think. Is there anything before we get to our big one? Oh, yeah. Right at the top there. I put it up there because it actually is one of my favorite songs. You probably have never heard of it before. It's called The Valley Road by Bruce Hornsby and the Range.
I do not recognize it, but if I've heard it before, I'll recognize it.
Let me tell you what I love about this song is, and you being a reader, you might understand for people who maybe don't, if you don't know who William Faulkner is, the Southern author, this is a Faulkner story in song form. Yeah, he didn't write it, Bruce Hornsby did, but it has that same feel out there. It's about this guy who basically is hooking up with the big plantation boss's daughter, but he's not good enough to marry, that kind of thing. It's a great song. So The Valley Road by Bruce Hornsby and the Range, which, by the way, is probably one of my top 5 story songs, to be honest with you. That's a really good one.
So that, we kind of brushed over American Pie, but that's actually about somebody also. That's about James Dean. I think that's right.
No, I think it's more the crash that took the Big Bopper and Buddy Holly. And
I thought it was about James Dean. Yeah. That's what I've always heard. We're going to have to fact check that.
We'll have to fact check that.
But you could be right. I mean, I've been wrong before.
You may be right, and I may be crazy.
Well,
but it just may be a lunatic these people are looking for, Chris. I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's see. Other story songs. The Boxer by Simon and Garfunkel. Simon and Garfunkel had a few story type songs.
Mrs. Robinson.
Mrs. Robinson. Absolutely.
that got turned into
Stacy's
a movie.
mom.
That got. I'm going to tell you right now. Rebecca Romaine? Is that who's in that?
Rachel Hunter.
Rachel Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Anytime that video comes on, yeah, we're going to have to watch this.
Yeah. And the song itself is a lot of fun, too.
That and Still of the Night with Tawny Katane dancing on the car.
Yeah.
I'm in. Those are women from our young men.
From our younger years. Brandy by Looking Glass. Another.
She's a fine girl.
She's a fine girl.
What a good wife she would be.
She would be, but his life and his love and his lady are the sea.
That's right.
So that's pretty much the story.
There's one that's not on here that when you said the sea, it kind of jogged the memory, but Southern Cross by Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's really another story song.
Another story song. When you see the Southern Cross. Let's see. So, Chris, are we ready to go ahead and lay out a couple of these ones that we haven't mentioned yet?
Just as long as you leave that one for the last, because it is the best one on here for sure.
I know you're a big Rush fan.
I am.
Usually like to do the Rush, but you talk about an epic story song.
It is. I was leaving that for you, actually.
But 2112 by Rush.
Yeah.
That song
got played a lot.
It got played a lot. And actually, it's a song that plays out in like different acts. It's so it's a long song, but you talk about a story song, that tells one heck of a story.
It's like 15 minutes long, isn't it?
All right, Chris, I think it's time to lay down to these folks what our favorite, because you and I had a conversation about this. And we were both in agreement of what we think is the best story song
of all time. Yeah, for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, in my best Casey Kasem, our number one story song you always ever put down, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Absolutely.
That you talk about a haunting song. And,
it is.
I mean, everything about that song is just perfect. The instrumentation, the lyrics, and the way he sings them.
Yep.
And he only this probably came out within a year or two after the actual event. So,
yep.
He wrote that like very quickly on there. But, man, that's one of those songs. When that comes on,
that's one of my trivia questions I always ask people about music. How many people died on the Edmund Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
Do you know? Because it's in the song.
Was it 29?
29.
Yeah, 29.
The church bell rang 29 times for every man on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah. Man, what
that's
a great
horrible,
song.
Horrible, travesty, I guess.
I know.
Tragic.
But actual shipwreck in Lake Superior.
Yes.
Back in 74, I think. And then not too long after that, Gordon Lightfoot just comes out with this epic.
It is epic without it. There's several epics on here, but to me, this is the top.
Yep,
for sure. Grew up with it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that we have not even scratched the surface on all the great story songs out there. But but our number one, because we had to have a conversation, was Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. So
Matt, every time we'd be putting on the river, he'd put that daggum song. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
It's about a wreck in a boat.
Why
are we doing that? But dude, welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Good to talk to all you folks. I don't get to see you, but
it's been a couple of minutes since we've been able to do this.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, ladies and gentlemen,
we're back.
We're there, man. The canned applause, ladies and gentlemen. The canned applause. But anyway, folks, listen, we sure appreciate you listening. RetroShow.net. If you want to find out about us, buy some merch, listen to podcasts, Robert Sam, RetroShow.net, dude. It will point you in the right direction. Yeah. Listen.
Love you, Moose.
Listen, I love all of you. I like some of you.
Hey, guys.
Make your day, people.